Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So as you can tell by the title, in today's video, we will be talking about or discussing, going over a pattern that is taking shape across the country right now that is rather concerning. Now, this mainly comes in the form of really above average temperatures for a good portion of the country. Now, obviously, this brings risks for a good portion of the United States in terms of just heat being very hot itself. Even though it is early May, right? It's kind of mid-spring. Heat can still be dangerous at this time of the year, and you could actually argue it could take some people off guard, as sometimes you just forget how 80 degrees feels after a whole cold winter, right, and cold spring. But we won't be dealing with just 80s. There will be some hundreds, even triple digits higher. So extreme heat, but also wildfire danger. It's been very dry and hot across certain portions of the U.S. where the heat will be taking place, and that's also leading to some already pretty bad situations across states like New Mexico, and this may worsen that. So I just want to kind of going over that in the next few days, or in in this upcoming video in the next few minutes. So let me start off by showing you the first thing that will be setting up this pattern. So right now we are dealing with actually pretty chilly temperatures across the Northeast. Nice little rain event, pretty dreary weather. We do have a big storm moving in onto the Northwest. I'll make a video more dedicated to that storm and its impacts in particular. But one of its impacts is it basically drives the wind from the south and west. It's basically kind of creating a trough. You can see a lot of chilly air spinning in. There will be some rather significant snow for the Sierras. There are winter weather advisories put up. Nothing record-breaking, but definitely a late season snow nonetheless. And notice what we do have is a low pressure developing, actually several of them, from this big energy mass that moves in. A big trough. It steers these winds, you can see, towards the north and northeast, initially doing something like this. We also have a low pressure here, and combine it with a very buoyant Gulf of Mexico with a lot of winds blowing a lot of moisture further up towards the north. Now you can see that unfortunately, this moisture won't be making its way into, say, the areas of Texas and Oklahoma. So the wildfire danger here will be high. Notice, you can follow these lines, right? They flow into Texas, and then they kind of take a pivot out here. So there's a little convergence there, and that's really going to prevent kind of the moisture from producing beneficial big rains across areas like Texas and whatnot, where the wildfire danger is. And I'll show you this in just a second, these anomalies. But you could see, right, a lot of air is getting pumped into very far to the north into the United States. So this isn't just hot for Texas. This is hot across Canada, especially the north, right? And I want to show you at this point just these anomalies, as I already showed you what's going to make these kind of make them appear in the first place. So notice again, there's that cool air mass of the system, right? Notice we already are dealing with very hot temperatures across Texas. The Panhandle today, I think Amarillo today or yesterday, I forgot which one. I believe today though, I think hit its earliest triple digit, so 100 degrees ever, Amarillo, and I think I hit that either today or yesterday. The earliest prior to that was May 15th. Now it's May 7th. So again, a pretty extraordinary outbreak of heat, and you can see these these temperatures are ranging in at 15 to even 20 to 25 degrees above average on this map in Celsius. So that's a very big anomaly. Notice it doesn't stay confined to the south and west. It spreads, again, as I said, all the way, especially into the north. Some of those anomalies also concerning potentially a wildfire danger here as well. Obviously, here would be more of a forest fire threat, because there's large forests here across Ontario and Quebec mainly. Further south, it's more of a brush fire threat, but we're definitely still there. Again, there's going to be extreme winds for a lot of these. And notice, right? I mean, big metros, Chicago, for example, Milwaukee, you could be dealing with 90s, which sounds really weird to say, as this spring, the warmest temperature I think we've seen was barely into the 80s. And that was just one quick day. The rest was an average of 50 or 60. So, a very stark turnaround. Notice it's cool across the southwest. So, at least that's some good news for these areas. No wildfire threat there, but this continues. That's Wednesday. This is Thursday. Now this is Friday. Very, very warm. Northeast has been also pretty chilly. You're going to get on some of this heat as well. Some of it's, again, rather alarming across portions of, especially Canada, where there hasn't been really any warmth since really last fall. The winter has been long, and now you're just seeing an extreme swing of temperatures. I mean, those are literally, some of them are breaking the I mean, that's off the chart. You can't even measure more than that. So, yeah, but eventually you can see it does move away. We do see a bit of cool air, but that's only early next week, and we see another heat building across the west and beginning to spread towards the east. So, again, potentially a long, warm summer ahead for many of these areas. And notice that these anomalies are rather extreme. They're not tame. They're extreme, and we've been seeing really extreme weather lately the past few years, and it seems like this year will be no exception in terms of the temperatures, at least, and I'm sure probably the weather events following this as well. Now let's take a look at actual temperature. So this is what the thermometer reads, and again you can see 90s, hundreds across Texas. You may see, oh, that's Texas, they're used to that heat, but not that hot, and you'll see as this shift further north, it will become more and more clear that something's out of place. Notice, right, 80s. I mean, the 85 is, for example, a July average temperature here in Chicago, and we'll be seeing that in early May. So that's definitely above average by and early by several months. And notice that, right, 90s, 80s into Kansas, right there into Michigan. Wisconsin, Minnesota, look at that. Minneapolis seeing 90s potentially. I mean, they literally just had, I think, one of the latest springs on record, and now they're just jumping straight into summer. Notice, look, 80s, mid 80s, all the way into southern Canada. That is very, very warm. 90s all the way by James Bay. That is extremely warm. Notice it does tame out a bit towards the south, more average, and we do see that cooler air mass move in. But that, the damage kind of will be done with all of these hot temperatures there for, a good extended period of 7 to 8 days, right? And along with this, there will be some rain, potentially some severe thunderstorms across the upper plains. Definitely something to watch for. Notice, right, we have these explosive thunderstorm events and potentially an explosive storm next week that will, late this week, I guess, into Friday, that will eventually bring into some of that cooler air. But with that, there could be some major severe weather outbreaks, potentially much further north, right, and in different locations than what we've seen so far. And you can see the activity continues. So that's that. And I do want to show you the Storm Prediction Center. So this is basically an office that predicts severe weather and fire danger. And notice that it's pretty high, right? Today, or sorry, today you can see it's critical across a lot of the southwest here where it's windy, it's hot, but it's not moist there, so it's just dry. And tomorrow it just peaks. Tomorrow's an extreme. You can see some portion of this area in New Mexico. I do believe there are already wildfires occurring here. There's one that is very, very out of control across New Mexico, or one that has already, I think, burned several homes, if not many more. And probably many more will, again, succumb to that if people, or if this thing spreads. And, the conditions will be definitely conducive towards this. You can see it's critical for a good while, all the way into Tuesday. It still stays pretty significant here. You can see this is day 4 and day 3. And in terms of the severe weather, tomorrow there's a slight risk, today across the Dakotas and into Nebraska. Though Sunday, you can see it's pretty minimal, nothing too extraordinary. Tornado threat is very low. It's mainly a hail threat. The wind threat's also not too bad. And on Monday, also very similar, not too significant. But then Tuesday, there is a severe area, so we'll have to watch this. This might be a day definitely to watch for. And I think later on in the week, we'll see more activity. But yes, a concerning pattern in the form of the heat and potentially, obviously, the just explosive storms that will be occurring with such a hot and humid pattern, especially, maybe not for Texas or New Mexico, but the humidity further eastward acting up and producing big nasty storms. Again, you can see this is what happens on Monday. You can see a pretty nasty cluster of storms moves in through Minnesota. A lot of energy they have to work with, so definitely something to watch for. And we'll definitely have to keep an eye on this. By the way, that's today's events. You can see there could be some nasty storms that will occur. This is an RGEM model, a very good one. It goes out to 84 hours. Notice this is late tomorrow into Monday. A very nasty cluster of storms develops, and I'll be going more into detail about this storm tomorrow, and I'll be discussing what later events could be occurring. Notice this spinning guy right here. That could help bring some moisture into the U.S. It's been hugging the northeast coast for quite a while. And notice right there, look, you see that? These little cluster moves to the south. That could definitely be a sign of some sort of a severe weather, and that's why there is a marginal risk issued for this area. You know, that is indicative of probably some sort of mesoscale cluster. We'll have to see what that exactly does. And you know, these things are hard to predict. So this is the time of the year where, you know, 24 hours out, you may not even see this coming, and then out of nowhere you just see a massive cluster. And you know, you may think that there will be one going on in the region, but the exact location, how far it goes, how, you know, its orientation, they're often very tough to predict. So that is that. So just stay tuned. Obviously, with the heat this week, stay, you know, hydrated, and don't, you know, spend exposed periods, long periods of times outdoors. You know, the first heat wave of the year usually catches some people off guard, and this one definitely is one that is probably going to catch many people off guard, especially since it's been a rather cold and crummy spring in terms of temperatures for a lot of the Midwest and Northeast, and that's exactly where this heat will be headed out to. And notice the European model, it does show that, again, system today, some nasty storms. We see another system tomorrow, definitely a powerful beast. Well, not tomorrow, really late or early Monday. Some, again, little cold front develops out of that. This is now Wednesday, Thursday. The heat continues right across much of the United States, and we see these systems coming in through the Midwest and northern plains, developing severe weather. And then this system kind of collides with that one again from the south and produces kind of a multi-day weather event across the east, and it spills further towards the north and east. So that is that. And again, even the European, right, the one that's usually more conservative of the models, it shows very hot temperatures, and you can see that, you know, I mean, it shows widespread 80s, 90s, even 100s. And yes, this is definitely very warm. If this were to occur in July, the peak heat for many areas, you know, this would be probably hundreds as far north as Chicago, Illinois, and Des Moines, Iowa, and even Wisconsin. Yeah, right there. I mean, you can 90s, the UP, early May. That is rather unheard. And yeah, definitely something that is gonna be worrisome. All right, that's basically it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next episode. See ya. Bye.